Welcome, ladies, to the YL OpNet. This is Melanie, AG4YL, Net Control for this evening's net. We meet every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Echolink Alara Conference Node. Be sure to invite all YLs you know to join us. We ask that only YLs or female ham radio operators check in and participate. The purpose of this net is to encourage you to become and stay active with amateur radio, help each other enhance our operating knowledge and skills, and have fun. During the net, we normally would have the Dewdrop-In chat room open, but it seems that Dewdrop-In is offline, off server, so there is no Dewdrop-In chat. So those have been asking about it and wondering about it the last week or so. Dewdrop-In is not operating at this time. Why else would like to check in, please give us your call sign, name, and current location. And don't forget that there is a 3 to 4 second delay when transmitting through Echolink and its connected repeaters. This is Melanie, AG4YL. We will now begin taking check-ins. Please call now.
Victor Alpha 3, Whiskey Hotel Uniform. Carol from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
AE7MD, Margaret, Battleground, Washington.
KCAPKY, Linda, Knox, Indiana.
Okay, well, I know there's more of you out there, but we'll start with that. I'd like to welcome so far Carol, BA3WHU from Ontario, Margaret, AE7MB from Washington, and Linda, KC8PKY from Indiana. And, of course, here in the background is Catherine, AEC4YL. And let's go ahead and continue to take check-ins for this week's net. Okay, so there's a few that have popped in since I started calling for check-ins, and that would be Jenny, M0HZT from the UK. Good evening, Jenny. Brenda, KW1YL from Connecticut. Good evening to you. I'd like to welcome a newcomer to our net, Marita from KJ7ANA, and I hope that I am pronouncing your name correctly. Marita is from Arizona, and I believe she is acquainted with Judy, who invited her on. So good evening to you. And Nisi, I see you down there, and I heard you on a little bit earlier when we were getting set up. Nisi is with us, KA1ULN. Wonderful to see all of you on there so far. Lauren, KC9ZHV, is connected, and I'd like to welcome all the YLs from the K4LYL repeater in Bedford, Virginia. And, of course, all the OMs that are listening as well this evening, welcome to all of you. And I'll give everybody an opportunity. And, of course, anybody's welcome to pop in at any time and check in, come and go as you like. Or if you're short time, please indicate so in the Echolink chat. Again, the Dewdrop-In chat room is not operational. It is no longer up. The kind folks at North Fulton Amateur Radio League, who we usually use their chat room link for Dewdrop-In, have been looking for alternatives for chats, and they're all, you have to send an invite and this, that, and the other, and it's all a little cumbersome. There's a lot of chat rooms out there, and one of the reasons why we like to drop in was, it was a ham radio. It was to go on the web. All you need to do this whole page, and off you go. If you okay, sorry about the delay there. There was some weird there was some weird buffering going on with Echolink, and everything was behind. That's all right. It wouldn't be Echolink if it wasn't running a little bit behind of everything. But if any of you ladies have some suggestions for some save not too many ads, good alternatives to the Dewdrop-In chat room. If you want to put that in the Echolink chat, or you can email myself or Catherine at our call signs at arrl.net, and both of us are good on QRZ. Please feel free to, we'd love to hear some feedback and some alternatives, because, this is your net, so if it's easy for you, that would be absolutely, absolutely wonderful. It looks like I've got a chat in here from Marita saying that you're having trouble with your headset, and we didn't get that. I'm going to go ahead and pause here, and I'm going to give you a chance to try it out. KJ7ANA, Marita, this is a G4YL and the net. Okay, AG4YL returning nothing heard and didn't see you key up to transmit. Perhaps Marita's having trouble hearing us now as well. Marita, KJ7ANA. Marita, can you hear us? And are you able to try to transmit again? Go ahead, please. Okay, nothing heard. If you would like, and this can go for anybody that wants to make sure that their levels are good and they can hear everything and be heard, there is an Echolink node. For those that are familiar, forgive me for repeating this, but there are some people that are new to Echolink, and then there's people like me that forget things after about a week. You can go to Echo Test. Now, if you're on with me now, you would need to disconnect from the ALARA conference, or you could do this later and just listen to the net if you can hear it. If you go to Echo Test, it's a conference node just like ALARA. Just scroll down to the east for Echo Test. If you're on your computer, there's also it's a menu option, but a lot of you are on your tablets or phones, so you can go to the Echo Test conference and connect to it just like you do to this conference and transmit, and everything that you transmit, it will retransmit back. It's almost like a little repeater. And you can use it all you want. There's no limitations on it. Nobody else hears you. It's just an Echo Test node just for testing your microphone, your levels, your transmit levels, and you can hear what you sound like coming back. So just a helpful little hint. Hopefully that's helpful to some of y'all that like to know what's going on. Catherine didn't have really a lot of ideas for topics this evening, and she was feeling a little under the weather, so I said I would give her a rest. She's been doing this most weeks, except when myself or back in the day, our friend Lori K4UPI would come in and help her out doing net control. She's been doing this for 4 years, over 4 years now. So I figured I would give her a break. So a couple of the ideas, and I thought maybe, if you all want to pitch in with something, and if you have any ideas, things you would like to talk about, that would be awesome. But one of the things that I thought might be interesting to share with you all are some of the cool operating events that are coming up pretty soon, and then we can go down and get your feedback and what's been going on with you, and we'll just go down the login list and talk to each of you and see what's been going on. And if you have a topic at that time that you would like to bring up, or questions that you'd like to ask, or a topic for this or future nets, you can bring it up at that time, or a comment on any of these operating events that I'm going to go over really, really quick. First of all, I think it's going to be ongoing that they had last week was the FT8 Roundup, and it's kind of a new thing just for FT8, which is really kind of interesting, and I understand that went very well. And I think that's going to be something ongoing. There's also an ongoing event with FT8 Call, so y'all might want to check that out. Nisi can probably tell us more about that, and maybe when we get to you, Nisi can tell us about that. But pause that, Lisa. Okay, AG for a while returning. But a couple of the things that are coming up pretty soon that are fun is the ARRL Rookie W. That's going to be coming up December 16th. Even if you're not a rookie, the rookies need someone to talk to. And I know I participated in Rookie Roundup the last year I was eligible to do it. I'm not going to go into all the details and the rules and everything. I'm sure Catherine can put up some links to it and put that in the Echolink chat. You can also just simply look it up. It's ARRL Rookie Roundup, and it's the CW portion. Again, that's coming up on the 16th. And rookies, basically a rookie is somebody that's been licensed for 3 years or less from by the year. So, for instance, this Rookie Roundup is coming up in 2018. So you can't have been licensed any later than or earlier, I should say, than 2016. It counts 16, 17, 18. Even if you weren't licensed until January of, or, you know, it's 3 calendar years. That's all I can tell you about it. It's a little weird sometimes, a little confusing sometimes, but rookies have to talk to somebody, and we need other people on the other end, and especially with CW. These are rookies, and they're playing CW. I know there's a few ladies out there that are working with CW and improving your CW and learning or have learned it or doing it slow or medium or fast or however. This might be a really nice thing to do, and it's so exciting being a rookie on the other end. If you've never been a rookie during a rookie roundup, I'm telling you, it's so doggone exciting, and it's so nice to have older hams. They're almost like Elmers to you on the other end to talk to and to help you through some hams first contest. That's kind of cool. Another really fun, I love this contest. It's the RAC Winter Contest. That's the Radio Amateurs of Canada, and they do this at the end of every year, and they have some wonderful, it's a great contest. We've got pause for reset. Okay. If I'm pausing too much, I'm on a phone, so I can't really see exactly. I have a phone and a tablet here. I can't really see my timeouts like you can on a regular computer. The advantage to having the computer up is that you have a bar that'll time you out if you have your timing set correctly. Otherwise, you just kind of have to guess. And there's 2 repeaters connected here, and I don't really want to knock them off. That's bad form, right? But the RAC Winter Contest, each province or territory in Canada has an official RAC station, and then there's lots of other stations, and it's kind of like a CUSO party in a way. It's a really fun. I like to try to collect all the provinces and territories. It's a lot of fun. It's really neat. It's a nice challenge. You work in the East Coast to West Coast. It's not that many provinces and territories. Those are great multipliers. It's a pretty simple exchange. There's not a whole heck of a lot to it. And I would encourage you all to check it out. Look for it. It's December 29th this year. And I believe it's all ham bands, not work, obviously. And it should be all formats. I think they usually do a CW and a sideband, and I believe there'll be some on RTTY and possibly some FT8 this year. But that's a lot of fun that's coming up. And then, of course, if you're not familiar with Winter Field Day, that will be coming up in January. Check it out. Winter Field Day is really a lot of fun, and it's simple. It's growing every year. They're a wonderful group of hams that participate in Winter Field Day, and I've been doing it now for a 3 years. So Winter Field Day is a really fun event coming up. It's very similar to ARRL's Field Day. In fact, they happily endorse it, say, yeah, if you're, can't wait until our field day in the summer, do Winter Field Day. And it's done by the Winter Field Day Association, WFDA. They've been doing it for the last couple of years now. They took over for another association and almost went under. And I love the response. There's a Winter Field Day Facebook page too. For those that are on Facebook, would like to check out what they do. A great group of hams there. Maybe pause for reset. Okay, and just one more thing, and the RAC contest reminded me of this. Starting January 1st is a new opportunity for those of us that are not near our friends to the north to be chasers, and our friends to the north in Canada and those that are near to be activators, because CN POTA is starting January 2019. I'm very excited about this. National Parks on the Air in 2016 was so exciting. Well, this is Canada's National Parks on the Air. Starting in 19, they're celebrating National Parks on the Air for Canadian National Parks on the Air. So I'm sure there's Carol and several other of our friends here on the net, April, that I'm sure will be either chasing or hunting, and this is a good opportunity for us, because they sure were participating with National Parks on the Air back in 16. So that's really exciting. We've got some news. In fact, Carol's got some news for us. So let's go down our login list. And let's hear from you, because I've talked plenty. Guess who's first? That's Carol, VA3WHU. Carol, tell us what's been going on, what's new in ham radio in your life. I know you've got a little bit of news that you've been sharing in the chat. And what's your take on what we've talked about so far? And do you have anything you would like to add? VA3WHU, AG4YL, and the group.
Victor Alpha 3, Whiskey Hotel Uniform. Yeah, good evening, ladies. It's always really interesting to come on here on a Thursday night and listen to such wonderful stories and different things that are going on. Parks on the Air. I'm definitely going to take part in that this year, or next year, January. As far as amateur radio goes, well, I'm still off work. The doctor's given me the all clear to go back to work, but now my company's giving me some problems. So I'm still off work, and I don't really think that I'll be going back for the Christmas holidays this year, and that's really sad, because after 32 years with the company, it's been a long journey. Anyway, that's another story. As far as amateur radio goes, I'm studying for my advanced. I'm studying for my advanced license here. I'm hoping to take that in February or March of next year. And I'm also still trying to learn Morse code. I'm having a really hard time getting the Morse code underway. I think if my OM and I do it together, we might get it. But studying on my own, it's real tricky, trying to associate the words and the letters with the sounds. I'm having a hard time with it, to be honest. Other than that, my ukulele lessons, anybody that's following me on Facebook will see that we're having some fun learning the ukulele. We do an hour every day, whether it be in the morning or lunchtime, whether it be the afternoon or the evening. Today it was the evening. It was an evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., so that's been part of my life as well. And weather here, mild today. We had some snow on the ground this morning that disappeared by lunchtime, and 5 degrees tomorrow and 7 degrees on Saturday. So I'm a Celsius girl, so you guys know that already. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, to be honest. I couldn't tell you, but anyways, wonderful listening to you, ladies. I'll stick around till 9 o'clock tonight, and I'll say back to you, Melanie, AG4YL in the group.
Thank you so much. Well, you know what, just as far as the job thing goes, all I can say is sometimes when one door closes, another will open. And I'm not saying your door is closed yet or anything, just saying that perhaps there's bigger and better things around the corner for you in the new year, and um, hopefully things will work out on the work front for you. But glad that at least your doctor has given you the all clear and you're mending well physically, and that's always wonderful to hear. As far as the CW, that's one of those things that I wanted to get into this year. Didn't try to get into it next year. With my schedule the way it is, CW Ops seems like it may not be an option, but I may be able to do something. Their curriculum and their software, all their tools are available on their website, so I think I'll be approaching it from that view and try to buckle down and get the discipline to do basically the CW Ops curriculum, if you will, as a self-study, which I know they do offer that, as opposed to doing the group study with the other members of CW Ops. So I hope you can wrap your head around that, and that works out for you as well. And as for your advance, you go, girl. You keep going. You go and do it. And we look forward to hopefully maybe contacting you if you want to go out and operate a park. So Canadian National Parks on the air, that's going to be very, very exciting, I think. And I hope to hear you and the fellow Canadians out there. I'd like to give a shout-out this time to Susie, NHCGM. Susie, I am so sorry you were down there on the list that floated off the screen. I did not acknowledge you, and I apologize for that. I did see you on there for about half a second, and then I got distracted. I'm not as good at this as Catherine is, so forgive me, but I did notice in your chat, yep, excited about CNPOTA. I know, it's going to be a great thing, isn't it? All right, let's move on down the list and go to Margaret, AE7MB. Margaret, what's going on with you? How are you doing? And have anything you want to talk about or some topics you'd like to explore this evening? Please call now. Uh-oh. Looks like we may have lost Margaret. Perhaps she had some other things to do this evening. That's all right. However, we'll go ahead and jump ahead, and we'll keep an eye out for Margaret. I believe she had to go and do something. But in time, let's talk to Linda, KC8DKI. Good evening to you, Linda. How are you doing this evening? What's been going on with you and Ham Radio? And do you have anything, any topics you'd like to bring up or discuss this evening? Please call now.
Well, this is KC8PKY. Good evening, everybody. Well, last week I thought I'd try the 10-meter contest, but when I turned on my rig, I had like an S9 noise level and couldn't hear anybody, so that was a wash. But we had our local radio club Christmas dinner last weekend, and but other than that, really haven't been doing too much, just trying to get things ready around the house and trees up and stuff like that. Other than that, it's been pretty quiet. And with that, I will turn it back. KC8PKY.
Well, yes, the holidays are amongst us, and that might be a reflection on the size of our group this evening. Everybody's kind of getting ready and has family in or going out to visit family or friends and running around and doing that thing. And kind of Christmas parties have been going on a lot lately as well. I can't believe the noise level. It's strange. Maybe it's somebody with all their LED dimmable Christmas lights that they're putting up in the neighborhood. You know, LED dimmers are a huge source of QRM, and I recently saw something in one of the reflectors, I believe it was by one of the North Fulton club members, that said he traced it to the brand new, fancy dimmable front porch light, LED porch light, and didn't even think about it when he put it in. It's got noise levels that are just that he had just installed, and took that out. He was good to go. So, yeah, with all the dimmers, it seems to be it's in LED dimmers. It seemed to have a lot of problems. LEDs themselves have gotten quieter, although they can be a source. And of course, with all the solar farms that are around and going up everywhere, and people going with a lot of solar, those inverters will throw a lot of noise up in your radio spectrum as well, and cause a lot of noise, even in computers. Anyway, let's see here. I don't see Margaret back, but let's go ahead and Nisi, you've been really quiet. Love to hear what you have to say, and if you've been doing anything new with FT8 calls. Nisi, K1ULN, AG4YL, and the net.
Hey, Melanie. So I'm quiet because I'm still taking oxycodone. I'm also sitting here, I'm still trying to code my, I got a Raspberry Pi with one of those 3.5 LCD screens, so it's right on top of the Raspberry Pi, and I'm trying to finish my PAN adapter for my KX3. So this is about the Raspberry Pi is about the size of a terrible relation, but a pack of cigarettes, and I don't even smoke. It's about the size of a pack of cigarettes, and the monitor is right on it. So if you ever saw a PAN adapter, the real Elecraft PAN adapter, this looks just like it, but I'm making my own with Python code. Yeah, I'm trying to do that while on oxycodone. Can you believe it? So that's what I'm doing. I just want to make sure everybody knows happy holidays to all, and I'm really happy to see that YLs are getting more and more active. I just wish during contests and sprints, I wish more YLs would take part in that. I'd like to say push the PTT button, but when you're doing digital mode, you don't really push the PTT button. So, you know, for those that don't really like their voice, I've heard that many times, they don't like their voice, digital modes are special for you. So, I hope to hear more YLs out there for contests. You know, it's really a great thing that, you know, yes. You have your privileges, so you might as well do it. And it's, you know, every once in a while, it's so nice to hear or see another YL out there, especially when, you know, FT8. I know everybody knows, I know everybody has heard what FT8 is in digital mode, but still, anyway, it's still to hear, you know, like the 10-meter air contest was last weekend. I did not hear not one other YL, not one. I know they were out there. I know Val was out there, but I couldn't hear her. I saw her call sign, Kilo Victor 9 Lima. Didn't hear her, but I saw her out there. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to push the PTT button. Get on the contest. You can't make an error. You got your license. You worked really hard for that. You worked really hard for it, so let's do it. Let's get on the contest, YL. If you got a question about anything, you can send it to, I don't know, Melanie or Catherine or myself or, I don't know, a couple others on the net here. Just don't hold back. We're here to share. We are here right now to share, and you can bring up your problems and questions right now. This is Kilo Alpha 1 United Lima November. Back to you, Melanie.
Okay, G4YL here returning. What Nisi said, yes, Absolutely. Absolutely agree. And Nisi, that's very cool. Building the pen adapter. Although I don't know on the Oxycode, I guess that's called OxyPi. Raspberry Pi. Building with Oxy, but Python. See, you're getting deep into some cool programming skills, and I hope you have all of that documented as far as what you're doing and your steps and getting everybody up to speed on your blog. For those of you that don't know, Nisi has an amazing blog. It's very WYOL-centric. It's useful for any him of any gender. It's ka1uln.blogspot.com. Yes, ka1uln.blogspot.com. Please check out Nisi's blog. It's awesome. Lots of good information there. As far as a 10-meter contest, I had two sides from the folks in the club about some areas it was open, some areas it wasn't. It was 10 meters can be a little funny sometimes. It's just depending. It's very dependent on propagation, and it can change on you pretty quickly. You see, it's 6 meters, which that's something that I'm looking to get into, and I think Catherine is too, when 6 meters comes alive next summer, next spring. And I'm certain Nisi can help out because she has got a great set of plans and can even help you with the actual kit and the wires and stuff like that to build a nice antenna for 6 meters. The information's again on her blog, and I agree. As far as you worked hard for a license, and that's what we try to help the gals do here, and that's why bring your questions, comments, concerns, etc. here to the WYOL-OpNet, to the WYOL-OpNet Facebook page, and to the WYOL-Ops.groups at groups.io. Pause for reset. Okay. And I do hope that people get excited when Nisi, you were talking about, the WYOLs getting on and everything like that. It's something that I noticed in Marks on the Air is there were a lot more WYOLs getting on the air, and a lot also got their license. And I have to say, I've heard several stories of WYOLs saying, well, my OM or my boyfriend or whatever seemed so much fun with this Parks on the Air. I wanted to get in on it too, so I studied, got my license so I could play too. And it was something that I heard more than once. And so, Canadian National Parks on the Air, and that's why, you're doing POTA. Catherine and I, when we can, although we haven't done as much as we'd like to with it, enjoy doing WWF-KFF, and which is, going out and activating parks and historical places and things like that. It's so much fun. It's just so much fun, and I think it's a great way to get out. People see you doing it too, and then you can talk to them about it and say, hey, this is fun. You can get on the air and talk to people from all over the world instead of sitting at home. You can interact a little bit more and have people come up to you and say, what is something? It's kind of fun. Another neat way to interact with everybody. Okay, next up on our list is Jenny, M0HZT. Jenny, good morning to you out there in England. How are you doing? What's new with you? And do you have any additional comments, questions, or input, or some topics you'd like to discuss? Please call now.
November 1, Bravo Alpha Sierra, Betty, Virginia.
Right. November 1, Bravo Alpha Sierra. Good evening to you coming in from Virginia Repeater. I was just getting ready to pop back, and I figured perhaps Jenny had maybe dozed off out there in England. It is early in the morning for her, and I think it's probably like 2 a.m. out there for her right now, so I figured maybe she had fallen asleep. But good evening to you. Thank you so much for calling, and nice to talk to you, Betty. And glad to have you join us on the YL OpNet this evening. I believe you are our first YL to come in from the Bedford, Virginia repeater. Thank you so much for checking in. My name is Melanie, a G4YL. I am your net controller for this evening. We meet every evening at 8 o'clock Eastern, and I'm glad to have you check in. I have you in the log, and I'm going to come back to you very shortly and see how you're doing, and we'll find out a little bit more about you for the net. And in the meantime, just hang tight for just a couple minutes here. I'm going to see if I can wake up Jenny. Jenny, wake up. Jenny. M0HZT. Jenny out there in England, are you awake? Would you like to talk to us here? This is AG4YL and the net. Okay, Jenny fell asleep. Brenda? W1YL, Brenda, how are you doing this evening? Do you have anything, any topics or things that you've been doing besides getting ready for our holidays? Please call now. KW1YL, this is a G4YL and the net.
This is KW1YL, Brenda in New Haven, and well, not too much to report this week. I'm still not on HF. I don't do digital modes. I'm basically on UHF, both at home and at the Makerspace Make Haven, and I'm not sure we'll get the HF in either place before the snow ends in the spring, and maybe we might, but we're working on it slowly. We're working on a new cable at Make Haven. But there's a logistics problem. I mean, we have to string it through 5 office stories, and from the antennas on the roof to the antennas on the roof to the radio in the basement, and you know, it's not like they go in a straight line or anything, so it's kind of complicated. But we're working on it. And with the UHF, the other last week there was an event where in the city where MakeHaven had a booth, and I was at the booth. And if people wanted a tour of MakeHaven, I would radio on UHF and my HT to the UHF radio at MakeHaven, and my husband would answer, and I'd say, well, I'm bringing a crew of people, and I'd bring a group of people that wanted to tour, and he'd give a tour, and so we communicated back and forth with our radios for that event. And so we kind of expanded out what we were doing there, and so that happened, and that was good. And we've gotten a lot of interest apparently from these tours from people that want to learn about the radio, and maybe you'll join another class that we might give. So that's what's going on there. So KW1YL, back to Net Control.
That is very cool. Thanks for sharing that, and it's always good to hear what you've been doing and your enthusiasm, and you're always very active, from one corner to the other. If not HS, there's nothing wrong with it. There's lots of other. There's so many ways to be active. There's so many ways to be an active. Nisi loves to hear the YLs on the air and get on the air and hear the YLs out there. And Margaret teaches and gets YLs licensed and does local nets, and it's just there's so many things to do. Between you're doing the tours and everything. It's just wonderful. It's wonderful to hear all the different angles and the stories. I believe and I believe there's something in the chat here. Nisi and Catherine were talking about batteries. There's a ham. He's an expat. He's actually was in the military here in the United States. He's out in Denmark, Sweden, something like that. He's out in the middle of nowhere, Finland. OH8STN. Look him up. He's got some great YouTube videos, and he has a blog, website, and he does a lot of off-grid stuff. But what's really neat is it's great if you guys are into go kits and batteries and getting out and operating portable and stuff like that. He's very hands-on and will show you how to do stuff hands-on. And he's not some kind of mad scientist engineer. He's very much like the rest of us, and I love the way he talks and describes things. And he's soldering. He's like, now look, guys, as you can tell, I'm not very good at this, but it works. So check him out. It's a lot of fun. Really, lots of good information. And I'd like to welcome Alicia AC1EW to the net. Next up on my and Alicia's from Massachusetts, by the way. So Marita, let's try and see if we can get your headset working. I'm hoping you're still hearing us. KJ7ANA, Marita from Arizona. Are you with us? And would you like to come in and talk to us? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and let's see if you can get your headset working this evening. AG4YL and the net. Oh, looks like she recently left off of our list. Okay, she recently dropped off our list. That's okay. She was here. She was trying to work it out and everything like that. Betty, it's your turn. Betty from Virginia coming in on the Bedford, Virginia repeater N1 BAS AG4YL and the net. Come back and talk to us a little bit about yourself. You've been listening to the net. You got any comments on what we've been talking about? Please call now.
Melanie, I'm a new ham. I got my test in October. I got my general in November. I don't have any equipment other than borrowed equipment right now. And I'm thinking about going for my extra. I'm also interested in CW. So I'm in several different directions right now, looking at equipment and thinking about the extra. I'm a little nervous thinking about studying for the extra because I see how difficult it is. Maybe some of your listeners can give me some feedback on how difficult it is, maybe some tips for studying for my extra. Thanks very much, and one BAS.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. You're in the right spot. I'll briefly, this will be brief, so those of you that know this story, don't groan. My story in brief is I had nothing, and I didn't even know if there was a place for me in ham radio. My father was a ham, a million years ago, through a link, and I'm one of these that goes crazy. I found out about this net back in, 14, and I thought, well, I'd like to get on this net on my computer and download some free software, Echolink, and get my license. So I went and got took my tech and my general, and I got on this net, and I've never looked back since. I had nothing, and I basically did everything, on Echolink, and fortunately, this net, the while it was that started, which is Catherine AC4YL, is local, somewhat local, at least in the North Atlanta area. And so we met up and started doing Hamfest. I got involved in the club she was involved in, and borrowed a Kenwood 450 sat. Best move I ever made. Borrowed it from my club, and just really, I had no. It took me a while to save up some money. I finally bought a Kenwood 590 SG that was one of those things. The 450 sat really got me going on. Kenwoods are really easy radios to operate, to learn to operate. I don't know what you've borrowed, and I know a lot of people, they love their ICOMs, they love their Yaesus. ICOM is a good radio too. I think it's the 718. That's very inexpensive, reasonable. It's a workhorse. They've been making it like 20, 25 years, and it's nothing fancy or fandangled, but it's affordable and a great workhorse. If you can get, your hands on a used 450 sat, that's probably one of the most solid workhorse, easy to use and learn radios with everything that you would need to from beginner to actually do some serious DXing. I did serious DX on that little radio, lugged it all over the Southeast for national parks on the air. I borrowed that radio for a year and lugged it everywhere. It's heavy, it's big, it's not exactly portable, but I had so much fun with it, learned so much about HF and about radios. And as far as some tips for the extra, I tried some other methods, and the first time I took the extra I did not pass. The second time I did pass, and for me it was how I got my tech and my general. It was HamStudy. HamStudy.com is free, and it's wonderful, and it's online, and you can put it on your phone. It's got adaptive flashcards, it's interactive, it's got explanations. You can run just the questions with or without detractors. You can take practice tests, and I'm going to pass this over to Catherine AC4YL for her take on helping with the extra, and then we'll open it up to the group to help get their take on getting prepped for the extra. AC4YL, AG4YL, and the group.
Okay, thanks, Melanie. Appreciate it. AC4YL here. So, yeah, as Melanie mentioned, hamstudy.org is a fantastic site. So what it'll allow you is you can pick which test you're studying for, technician, general, or amateur extra.
Okay, let me pick it up. This is AG4YL returning. We lost Catherine there for a minute. No problem. It might be just a little weird glitchiness on the proxy, but I'm going to go ahead and pick it up for a second while she goes ahead and reconnects. And while she goes ahead and reconnects and gets back on here again, because I think we've lost her because she cut out there for a minute. But let me go ahead and clarify. One of the things she did say was it's hamstudy.org, and I believe I said hamstudy.com. It's hamstudy.org, O-R-G. Register for a free account, and it's interactive, it's adaptive, it'll follow your progress. You can break it down, and for instance, in your case, Betty, you can take it down and just do E1, and then just do section E2, and then just do section E3. And you can break it down to where you can do the flashcards for these sections. You can flip the flashcards over and see an explanation answers on the back of the flashcards. When you miss something, what it does is it will pitch it back to you randomly even more often. So that's what it means by a day. The more times you get it right, then the less hidden, but you're still going to get that flashcard come up, and it is addictive. You'd be like, oh gosh, this is so boring. I loved it. It was addictive. It was like, oh, I remember this one. I remember this one. The other thing is, and there'll be people here that disagree with me, I like seeing the detractors. And the reason is because when you're trying to learn your questions and your correct answers, it's nice to know what the other answers are on there so you can rule them out. Some people say, oh, we only give you what the right answers are, so you just learn the right answers. And that's fine. Some people may learn better that way. I do not. I'd like to see what the other options are, so if there's something close, I can go, oh, wait, they're almost identical, but there's little differences, and then how do they learn them? Let's face it, what we're trying to do here is learn the correct answers to pass the test. I work about this thing where I learned what this meant. Now that I'm a ham, I can look back and I can find, oh, now I understand what that question for. Now I understand what this means. But when you're taking those tests, just like when you took your tech in your general, you can actually learn those answers pretty good, but unless you're really, really into, electronic radio, engineering and science of it, a lot of that information will not come up until you actually put it to use. If you want to learn the material, I recommend ARRL's Extra Examination Book. It will teach you and get you in depth every single question in there. Let me pause here. Okay, let me see if Catherine, I see her on. Let me see if Catherine is good to go here and transmit and has anything else to add in on that one. And then we'll go back to you, Betty, and have you go back and forth, and we'll open it up to the group too. AC4YL, AG4YL, and the group.
Okay, AC4YL here. Hopefully this is actually getting out. Having some delays on this end. Wow, Echo Link in the internet. Everybody's going online doing their Christmas shopping, so the internet stinks. What can we say? Anyway, so I'm not sure I missed out on some of this trying to reconnect here, but we were talking about a free account. It keeps track of your progress and what you missed and what you got. We can break it down into each sub-element instead of having the whole test at once, was what I was trying to say before. So anyway, that was the biggest help for me in studying for my extra class license. That, and I did do a little bit with ARRL, just going through the answers in the back and doing a little bit of reading, but I think where you get the most value is once you pass your test and actually get hands-on and play around with radio and hang around hams and experience amateur radio for yourself. So anyway, that's all I had to say on that. So about that. So I'm not sure if we wanted to pass this back over to hang on. Let me reset here. Okay, I see Mel at this point has opened it up. Does anybody else have any suggestions for Betty on studying for your license? Any other suggestions? So please go ahead and call now. Okay, not hearing anyone, and I don't see Melanie connected back up. I'm sure she's probably going through the same routine I had to go through trying to get reconnected for whatever crazy reason. So with that, hopefully those suggestions were helpful to you, Betty, but it's hamstudy.org. You can create a free account there, and you can use the flashcards and study that way. And if you have any questions as you're trying to use it, feel free to send Melanie or myself an email. AG4YL, Alpha Golf 4 Yankee Lima at ARRL.net is Melanie's email. C4YL at ARRL.net. So feel free to email either of us. We'll be happy to help you get going on hamstudy.org if you have any questions. A lot of people have also had success with Gordon West books, so I check that out, and I'm sure with those methods you should have no problem. You'll just need to take some time to study. So looks like Melanie's back, so sounds like a good time to try and pass it back to her and see if we're connected here. AG4YL, AC4YL with the group.
Okay, thank you so much, AG4YL here. Yeah, all of a sudden, my proxy just died. So basically, I lost my proxy lost their internet, and so therefore I lost my Echolink. There's a lot of places you could take tests. I explored many of them, the hamtest.org, and I also liked ARRL has a test, sort of a free test taking. You can take some practice tests with ARRL.org. You have to be an ARRL member to get on their list. You have to go through the tabs at the top. I think it's like teaching and education or licensing and education. The link that'll pop down on the left-hand side for ARRL's online test site, and it takes you to its own little site. Its own little URL will change, and you can register with them. It's entirely free. It will track your progress on there as well. And then again, I tried learning the material because I believed, I mean, that's how I did it for my tech in general. I sort of believed, you should learn it, to kind of take the tests and that kind of thing. And I really tried to learn it through using the ARRL Extra book, and it was so daunting. There was so much material. I mean, I would just have to read and be learned. It was like a textbook. It's a great reference manual, and I do go back and reference that in the information that was in the extra test. But to be perfectly honest, I learned the correct answers to the extra to get the extra, and then kind of worked backwards from there. And some people may not agree with that, and that's fine. I'm just saying what I did and what worked for me and my personal motivation. Also, on the ARRL licensing and education site, there is also some external resources, and one of them, in fact, he was just made a section manager or an ASM out in Washington. What is his name? I'll have to probably come back with it. But let me pass it back over to you, Betty, while I collect this. Wait a minute. What is his name? I cannot remember his name. Let me just pass it over to you, Betty. N1BAS, AG4YL in the group, and with comments, questions, or anything else that you wanted to add, or if you had any other questions, go ahead, and the mic is yours.
But I have written everything down, and I plan to go through those reference materials. Thank you, ladies, so very much. N1BAS.
Okay. Okay, cool. I think it's AE7FO. Jack Tiley is a gentleman's name. Jack Tiley does a syllabus, and you can look him up. It's Jack Tiley, Tiley, and I want to say it's AE7FO or AD7FO. But if you look up Jack Tiley Ham, he does, and he's now associated with ARRL. I discovered him back when he was just with his local group. He started doing what he calls a syllabus. It's a test prep. It's wonderful. You can you probably Google his name, find it. Here's the address. It's AD7FO. That's Alpha Delta 7 Foxtrot Oscar.com. AD7O.com, and click on the Training tab. The Training tab. All amateur licenses. This is so much nicer than when I discovered his. And he has his extra syllabus. Just click on it. It'll have the latest testing information. It is so cool. Entirely free. He just does it for the ham community. So, Betty, I would encourage you to check that out as well. That's Alpha Delta 7 Foxtrot Oscar.com. Click on Training, and on the left-hand side, it has a button on there for his extra syllabus. Anybody else that's looking for some other material, I used his syllabus for the tech and the general as well. I used that in conjunction. No problem. In fact, I started a test. So I spent a week and just kind of in my spare time and studied for the general and took TESPA. So these are two very effective tools. And Jack does explain the answers and will teach you stuff about it, and it has great material. So I'll admit it, it's been a while. His site's great. Check it out if you can. I'm going to pause for reset, and we'll go on down the list here, see if there's anybody else that we can talk to. Okay, man, buffering is around here. I hope you. Alicia from Massachusetts. Additional information for Betty. You being an extra may have some tips and advice for her as well. There's a lot of gals on here that are extras, but since you're up, I'm just going to tag you and say AG for a while and Annette.
All right, thank you. This is AC1EW, Alicia in Wakefield, Massachusetts. I guess first I just want to second the opinion on hamstudy.org. I use that for my general and for the extra. I also took a 2-day class up in Nashua on the extra, which helped a lot, Nashua, New Hampshire. Anyway, other stuff that's going on, I've been trying to work on a winter antenna since I live in a condo or a townhouse here with an HOA. So I've been still trying to work that out to figure out what works best. But I've worked on a couple of other projects. I'm studying CW, first of all, and I'm signed up for the CW Ops Academy starting the first week in January. As Nisi mentioned in the text, I built a portable power box that I'm quite pleased with. You know, I have a Yaesu FT991 radio, which I've used for portable work for the Parks on the Air with Nisi and some other occasions. I got a Bioenno 30 amp hour battery, and then I wanted an enclosure for that. So I picked up like a $10 ammo box from Harbor Freight. I build it out with the battery, a solar charger, so I can hook up solar panels directly to it to charge the battery, and along with Anderson power pole power connectors for the radio, USB ports, a cigarette lighter adapter. So that was a lot of fun. And that's about it. Doing a lot of CW study. I'll turn it back to the net. Over.
Okay, fabulous. I love that. I love putting those power boxes. I think that's awesome. Congratulations on signing up and getting into the new class in January for the CW Ops. That, and as I mentioned earlier, it was something I wanted to try to work in and do it with my job being relatively new that I started. I've been there a year now, but I had that injury in late spring that kind of put me out of commission. Didn't really want to shake it up too much there at work, So I'm just going to live vicariously through you ladies learning CW. That's what's going to happen here. No, I'm just kidding. Wonderful on the power box, and I really wanted to kind of get something together and something as well. You sound like you're really set up to do some WWFF, KFF activations and operations, and especially with you learning learning CW, you can go out and do some really decent low power stuff and really keep that power box to be able to take you all day and into the night. You can go out to state parks, they're most all the state parks, as far as I know, are KFF, have KFF designators. You can go out and get a campsite, take your rig out, and do that stuff and play on different bands all night long. Catherine and I have been recently playing with one of our newest antenna acquisitions, which is an alpha antenna. At the time we got what's called the Easy Military. It's now called the MCOM, I believe, MCOM antenna. Anyway, it's got it's a basic breakdown with the elastic cord whip, tall whip, and it breaks down, it folds down, and fits all into a bag. And the secret is a match, the alpha match. It's this the stainless steel, non-magnetic, wonderful match, and you can just switch on the fly. It has an NVIS element that you can choose to use or not to use, and a ground element, on a tent peg, stick it in the ground. It only has to be 5 feet up off the ground. I suppose it's the best of a vertical, best of a horizontal. It's an all band, and really kind of cool. I'd encourage y'all to check out what Alpha Antenna has out there. I wish you luck on your HOA. I know that's always kind of. I live in an apartment complex. I have the same kind of problem, Alicia. And right now, I don't have one at home. I don't have an antenna up right now. I've got to figure out good ways to hide it from the people in the apartment complex. It's recently been taken over by pretty much the equivalent of a slumlord apartment management, and they're crazy. They're absolutely crazy. Can't wait to get out of there. But in the meantime, trying to find ways of playing radio usually involves just taking the alpha antenna and going out working portable. One of the reasons why the LiFePO lithium phosphate battery has been something we've been looking into building from the OH8 website. Catherine put the links up on the in the chat. But anyway, I'm trying to remember what the name of it was now. OH8STN. That's it. Sierra Tango November OH8STN. And building some of the battery packs there. They're supposed to be a little bit better than the what's the popular one everybody uses now? Let me pause for a reset. Okay, AG4YL returning. BioNO is the name I was trying to think of. A real popular pack, and he builds or tells you how to build ones that are even superior to the BioNO. But of course, it takes some time, and BioNO certainly is a fine choice if you want something built for you and ready to go. But anyway, let's see who comes after. Alicia here is, Phyllis. Hi, Phyllis. Saw you pop in there, got you in the log. Would you like to come in and talk to the group about what you've been up to lately? If you have any comments on anything that you might have heard us discuss since we've been on, and just like to say hi to you, okay? And thank you, KN4KHY. Phyllis, this is AG4YL and the group.
Well, hello, AG4YL. This is Phyllis. I'm from down in Portal, Georgia. It's only about my second time checking in. I've been listening to y'all about the studying for tests and all. It took me 8 tries to pass my tech test. Wanted to stop, but no, everybody kept pushing me to go on and on and on, so I did. And I finally passed it in March of this year. And my means of study was hamstudy.org and the Ham Whisperer, and just kept pounding at it and pounding at it. So anyone that's out there trying to study and trying to take it, my advice is to just keep going and keep trying. You'll get it one day. Back to the net, KN4KHY.
All right, your new nickname, Persistent Phyllis. No, that's awesome. Thank you so much for coming in and talking about that. That's, you know, it's how you look at it. I love the way you said, you know, look that many times too.
Well, it's interesting. I still see Melanie in the list, but she dropped. Nope, don't see her yet. All right, I guess we'll give her a minute to pop back in here. But yeah, that's awesome, Phyllis. You know, just great advice for everybody. Just keep on giving it a shot, and you know, you don't have to pass the first time. You just keep going at it if you need to. And the nice thing is, at least you have the experience of taking it once. In fact, that's why they encourage you that if you pass the test you came in to take, then test session, because then you get a chance to see what the next test is like, even if you didn't get a chance to study for it yet. So really cool stuff. Looks like Melanie's back. Let me see if I can pass it back over to her for the last few minutes of the net here. AG4YL, AC4YL with the group.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Yeah, all of a sudden my network proxy dropped out again. I just wanted to say I had somebody, I said, yeah, I failed the test, and somebody said, no, you didn't fail. You just didn't pass it this time. You know, it's kind of like that failure is not an option kind of a thing. And I was glad that, you know, I didn't hear those words, fail, because it's not a failure. It's just, it better arms you for the next time. Each time you just get better armed for the following time, and more prepared for the following time, and more prepared for the following time. And that's all there is to it. You know, went back, was better prepared, but it takes different things at different times, and that's why I really encourage, you know, people to try different things to pass the test. I used a different approach for my extra the first time, and I should have done the exact same thing I did for my tech and my general, which was to have study.org and Jack Tiley's syllabus and the ARRL practice test as well. If I had followed the same formula the first two times, but, you know, oh, I'll just try something different, and, well, it didn't work out for me. When I went back to that, then I made it the second time. So find what works for you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And if something doesn't work for you, try something else. Try a different approach. Try something a little bit different, but just keep on trying. That's usually the best thing that can happen here. Well, I think we have met and talked to everybody here on our list this evening, which is wonderful. Thank you for joining me here and allowing me to the privilege of internet control, even though we had a few connection issues here. And it was wonderful. Welcome to all the new gals that checked in with us, and some that have been staying with us for a while. And it's always wonderful to get together on these Thursday nights and chat with you all. If you want if you have any more questions or have any ideas for the net, or if you want to be net control for this net, if you want to do this, just send Catherine or myself an email. It's our call sign, which I'm AG4YL, she's AC4YL. We're at arrl.net. We're good on QRZ. Just send us an email. Say, I have this idea, or I'd like to do net control, or I'd like to do a presentation, or something. This is your net. Please come join and get involved in it and do stuff with it and be a part of it. It's perfectly okay. Absolutely encouraged, and we'd love to hear from you. And it gives us a break. No, I love it, and I know Catherine does as well. Don't forget to visit and post our YL-OpNet Facebook group. Continue net topics and questions there in between the weekly nets. Participate and post all ham-related questions, adventures, and all things ham-radio related in the YL Ops Group IO group. So if you're familiar with groups.io, or even if you're not, go check it out and just search on YL Ops. We'd also like to thank Lauren, KC9ZHB, for live streaming and recording of this net whenever possible and making it available to all through YouTube. I'd also like to thank Alara for the use of this Everlink conference node and all LinkedIn listening for your ongoing support of this net. Thank you all so much once again for being here with us this evening. This is Melanie, AG4YL, closing the YL OpNet, returning the Alara conference node back to normal use. Please feel free to stay on in about an hour. Margaret will be doing the MinnowNet, and wonderful group of gals. You check in and have a nice little social time on the MinnowNet in about an hour. Thank you so much. 33, everyone. Good night.